Okay, so again, so as we said, leaning back on this one now, more so weight on the right side. Now, because of that, your low point is behind the golf ball, okay?
Yeah.
You either fat it or you thin it. And again, as we said, if there's something in the way, you're going to want to thin it to clear it, but now you're thinning it to something else on the other side of the green.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to get in a situation where you can get a better contact. Okay, moving your body to the left is going to help you get a good contact, but that gives you power. And you know on this shot, we don't want any power. Okay, we want to be getting a good strike. So you can see your setup now. We've opened that foot up a little bit. If truth be told, we could open it a bit more. I'm there saying, come more, and you're kind of like shuffling it. It does feel a little bit strange having kind of like the old half Charlie Chaplin, as I call it. But it just helps get that weight a bit more onto that left side. You can see now everything has a bit more on top of the golf ball, a bit more of anything left of the golf ball, as opposed to where you are on this left-hand one, leaning back. So as you take the golf club back on this one, for me, there's probably a bit too long a backswing anyway, because you're able to move the club back because that foot, as we said, is turned in.
Yeah.
And now you keep the head down too long. Club bottoms out a bit early behind the golf ball. That's your low point now, the golf club. Hitting the ball there now a bit thin. The head's not moving through now. Because the head's not moving, the body stops. And you see the hands sort of rolling over and flicking here after the shot. And that's just going to give you that kind of thinny one across the green, okay? So the movement now is we've got to get this to move, okay? The more the torso moves, it's almost like you're sort of dragging the handle through. It slows things down. So if we look at this movement here now, again, the weight going forward, you can sort of see yourself moving. I'm sort of saying go left, you move to the left, move to the left. Then you sort of go back and then get back to that left hand. Now, in terms of backswing, okay, as we come back now, there's a much better contact. Now watch your torso move through this way. Look how much less that club has actually moved. You've moved your body more, but the club has actually moved less because you've controlled both the torso, as we said, and the handle of the club. The club then hasn't got a mind of its own going wheat and just fling past you, okay? So you're getting the body to rotate a little bit more. It's like I say, if you're handing something to someone to your left and like, there you go, you do it nice and gently by moving your body. You wouldn't just fling your arms left and hope they catch it, yeah?
No. And should I not break, I shouldn't break the wrist?
No, wrists are fine. Wrists on the way back are good. Yeah. The thing is, people take the golf club back. They know the movement where the club and the arms end up in this position. Yeah, so the arm is in sort of that downward yellow line. The club is in that kind of flicked position. Yeah, so that red line would represent the shaft on a flicked or a scooped thing.
Yeah.
So people know that position isn't ideal unless you're playing a specific shot and you're super skilled and you're trying to play a high lob shot or whatever. For a basic chip, that left wrist movement there is not good. The problem is, if you take the golf club back here now, if you go back too straight and wooden, your arms in the club almost in a straight line.
Yep.
So if your body stops, which we said it will do when the head stays down, this is going to stop now. Well, the club shaft that's here is just going to keep going and going and going. So you're already in that flick position. So you take it golf club back like this, and rather than having a little bit of wrist and holding it, you kind of go back like this, then we stop, and now the club's already overtaken. So you've almost predetermined that scoop by trying to take the wrist out. Wrists are a good thing. Wrists help you sort of control the club a little bit. If you're going to throw a ball, would you throw it with locked wrist and stiff arm? You just have a little bit of kind of hinge back and forth, okay? So wrists aren't a bad thing, but as long as the body keeps moving, you can use your wrist, I wouldn't say as much as you like, but to some extent with a little bit of kind of hinge back and forth, okay? So setup is where we're going to start things off, okay? So you're getting more weight feeling on that left side.
Yep.
Open that foot up. It just makes it a lot easier to just put your weight down that left foot there. If I turn my foot in and then try and lean this, my ankle doesn't like it. Yeah. And then you're just going to swing off it every time you come back to the golf ball. So open the foot, weight down the left side, and then using that body to rotate through. And depending on how far you want to go, if you're playing a short shot, you go back this far. If you want to go longer, the arms would lift a bit higher, the arm would lift a bit higher, the arm would lift a bit higher, depending on if you want to go further and further and further. So if that club shaft there, we say represents up to, say, 20 yards, the green line here will say 40 yards, the blue line maybe up here, 60, 70 yards, then you're looking beyond that as a full swing. Yeah. And then through the ball, as we said, the blue line up there would be a 70 yards, 60 yards, the green line there, and the blue line there, red line, sorry. Red line there be 20 yards, okay? So you just basically how much you lift your arms determines kind of how much energy you put, which is the same way if I said to you, hit the ground with this like an axe chopping wood. If I said hit it softly, you'd lift your arms a little bit, drop it. If I said it harder, what are you going to do? Lift your arms up more, don't you, yeah? So your body's always moving the club around you, and depending on how much energy you want, you either lift it a bit more, give more power, you lift it a little bit less. Give less power, lift it a lot more, give yourself a lot more power. Yeah. So, but you've got to control that But ultimately, Rob, you need to be able to strike the ball good in the first place.
Yeah.
If you're thinning or fatting it, and the problem with chipping, if you're making a swing, if we look at this left-hand swing, we'd say that length of swing there, it's probably like a 20 to 30 yard shot.
Yeah.
If you fat it this time of year now, it's probably going 3 to 5 yards.
Yeah.
Literally, just in front of you. Yeah? If you thin, it's almost going 50 or 60.
Yeah.
So then your variance now is 5 to 60 yards. Well, there's no green really long enough to take of that. Maybe the 18 on the button if you're lucky, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very difficult then to judge distance. If you fat the first one, yeah, on the golf course, you front the green on the first, for example, you go poof and you dunch it 5 yards in front. You trudge forward a bit despondent, oh, whatever. Then you set to the next one and go, right, okay, I didn't hit a bit harder this one. And you hit the next one a bit harder, but don't want it to the ground, so you thin it, and where'd it go? Across the other side of the green. And now you're playing tennis with yourself, aren't you?
I am.
Okay?
Regularly.
Right, so, summarise, open the foot up,
Yeah.
weight forward,
Yeah.
turn torso. Okie dokie?
Yeah.